In this video, I'm going to talk about a new Facebook ads feature called Multi Advertiser Ads. And make sure you watch until the end because I've tested these pretty extensively across different accounts. And I'm going to let you know whether or not I think you should be using these in your own accounts. But before we get to that, what are Multi Advertiser Ads? Well, this is an Instagram feed only placement. And essentially what it is it allows your business to get more exposure to people who have shown commercial intent for something related to what you are selling. So effectively, if someone is in a shopping mindset on Instagram, you have the ability to be shown to these people who they have high commercial intent if you've checked the box for multi-advertiser ads. I see them very, very similar as Google shopping ads, and even when you look at them, they have this sort of similar feel, similar concept. And Meta specify that themselves. They say you can either be beside related businesses or you can be beside complementary businesses. So they like to give the example of weddings. They say you could have your ad for a wedding cake beside an ad for a wedding dress. So it's a really, really interesting placement idea. You know, you could be in certain niches that have lots of complementary businesses and you benefit from that when someone's in a buying mode. We already know from conversion rate optimization that, you know, if you show something to someone at the checkout after they've already bought, there's a higher chance that they're then going to buy something else because they're in a shopping mindset. And that's why people on the street, salesmen, often look for people with bags, because they see, okay, you've bought something already, you're in a shopping mind, you've spent money, you're ready to spend money. Let me go and try and sell you something else because there's a higher chance that you're going to buy. But the benefit of these is they're selling something that you want, something related. So it's really, really interesting as a placement. But so far, the opinion from the media buying world, the experts, it seems kind of negative. From what I've seen on videos I've watched or blogs I've read, people are a bit hesitant about using these, and they see them as going to be something that is a worse placement, something that Meta are using to basically expand their advertising real estate and give you cheaper impressions, cheaper CPMs, but you as an advertiser are not going to benefit. You're going to get worse results because it's a poor quality placement. I think that is very, very close-minded though, and that is very too early to make judgment on a new feature. Yes, sometimes Meta can roll out new features that absolutely tank and don't work for us, but other times they can roll out features that absolutely work and crush your results. As well as the fact that when something is new, generally platforms want to push it and they give you an early user advantage or early adopter advantage for using such placements. So I really think these media buyers, these gurus for Facebook ads, are too quick to jump the gun. And really, if you're a good media buyer, you shouldn't just rule something out based on a hypothesis. You know that you have to go and test something, get the data, and figure out for yourself whether it's something that you should be using or not. And from what I see from Meta's results, it would kind of suggest that these placements, this new feature, is something that is going to be worthwhile because they've done 400,000 tests in different verticals at the end of last year. And from what they've seen, it basically improves the conversion, the performance of campaigns than when those campaigns just had normal ads. Okay, so it outperforms them. So definitely something to look at, and I would have to agree with Meta's opinion. I do think it is a placement from what I've seen that can have success, but there's a couple of things you need to keep in mind to get that success, which I will explain in just a moment. So if you want to try out the multi-advertiser ads placement, it's as simple as ticking a box. You just have to go to the ad level of your ads manager. And like I said, just tick the box for it to be on, and then you're eligible to appear on this placement. And what you might find is some of you unbeknowingly might actually already be running these ads. I'm not entirely sure if it is default yet in the accounts, but certainly a lot of my accounts, it will be default checked by Meta. So yeah, you may actually already be using this platform this placement and not actually know that you're using it. So I'm sure you want to know, has it worked for my tests? What way would I recommend you using this? You don't have to wait any longer. Let's get into that. So I've ran a couple of different tests of the multi-advertiser ad feature since it came out last year. I started by basically taking my best ads, the post IDs of them, and simply duplicating them and checking it to see if that would improve. And what I found doing it that way was, if you already have something running and it has data behind it, you duplicating it and checking the box for multi-advertiser ads isn't going to get you any better results. It just won't get any spend. The machine learning is behind that other original ad, and it will perform better than the multi-advertiser ad variant. So then I went, okay, let me now split test them, proper A/B experiments in Ads Manager. And I've done this in multiple accounts, and it always seems to be the same pattern. You will have a higher CPM on the multi-advertiser ads, but when you start out, the results will be similar to your control where you have it unchecked, okay? So it's very interesting. The CPM will be more expensive for this placement, which kind of goes against what the gurus were thinking. They were thinking the CPM would be cheaper. It would be low quality traffic, but cheap impressions. Well, actually, it's more expensive traffic, more expensive impressions. But interestingly, when you start out, the results are more or less the same in a proper A/B, experiment. It's completely equal. The results are the same for a while. And I think at that point, a lot of people have shared their feedback and said, yeah, when I check these, I don't get any benefit, so I'm just going to leave them unchecked. But if you keep that experiment running, not just 1 week, like a couple weeks, what you start to see is it starts to diverge. And the multi-advertiser ads, CPM will always stay more expensive in my experience, but the performance then starts to really outperform the control. And then if you take those ads, let's say it was the completely same setup as one of your top performing ads in a very seasoned campaign. If you've taken the same components of that ad, it started afresh with no learning, but used the multi-advertiser ad box checked, what I found is that then cannibalizes your original ad and outperforms it. Okay, so it's been really interesting for me to see that. I'm not saying that's going to happen to everyone. That's going to happen in every situation. What you have to do for yourself is to test this feature and figure out if it works. So the way I would recommend doing it is probably setting up one of those A/B experiments just so you get the confidence behind it. But of course you don't need to. You could just go into your usual testing and set up the same test that you maybe previously ran to find certain ads that performed. But this time the only variable you change is ticking the multi-advertiser ads box and see if it beats what you're currently running as your sort of top performing ads. Okay, so yeah, I've been checking it now as default in the accounts that I've tested it in, as it's consistently provided better performance. So why wouldn't I now just roll it out? But I have a new client that's come on board, and that'll be an interesting one to, can we get another one where it works, where it hasn't been used? Can I get them better performance by using that as a feature? So if I can, I will obviously feed that back somehow, maybe in an update video, and let you know how they're going. But for now, it's very, very new, very early. A lot of people aren't using it. I can't outright say it's going to be better, but from my experience, from what I've done with it, I've seen better performance. So I definitely suggest that you go out, give it a try, and see if you get better results. Like I said, you might not. Every account is different, but it might work for you. And also, don't rule it out because you think, well, I have something that's very unique and there's not going to be similar businesses to me. I've used this in an account with great results where we don't really have any competitors. What they're offering is a very unique, very niche service for medical students. So they don't really have competitors, but even checking it for them has shown better performance. The only disadvantage I would say with this is there's no way you can break down the information and see how much spend's been going to this placement, how many conversions you've had from this placement. you don't get that. It just falls under the Instagram feed placement. So we've no way of knowing currently how this does, but it is done on machine learning. So we just have to trust the machine is smarter than us. It's very complicated. Let it do its thing. Something seems to be working, and we'll leave it at that. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope you've taken some value from it or sparked your curiosity. Go give MMA ads a try. Leave in the comment how you get on. I think a lot of people would take value from seeing other people's experience, and also I can give you some assistance if you leave comments. But until then, have a good week, and I'll see you in another video very, very soon.